Hello everyone and welcome to another Schmeat video. I am going to be attempting a mock draft. Many of you may know my college basketball knowledge is not endless, and I know a lot of the players in this year's draft, but I don't know, the late first round picks and the second round picks. But we're going to be doing this mock draft, and I found a really good website called Fanspo, or Fanspo, however you say it. Which gives you, a little mock draft maker. Gets the team needs, the picks, salary cap, current roster. I mean, this website seems really well. So let's go through. I did the first round because the second round I feel like I wouldn't know any of the players I would be drafting. So let's go through this because I really think it's interesting. So first overall pick, Detroit Pistons. As you see right here, their guards are, they really need them. They don't really need centers. They have Isaiah Stewart. They just drafted Killian Hayes. They have Jeremy Grant at this. He plays small forward and power forward. So yeah, Cade Cunningham. I saw some talks about a Shea and the 6th overall pick for the first pick. That's not going to happen. I don't think they draft Jalen Green. I think Cade Cunningham can play pretty well with Killian Hayes. And I think that's pretty consensus. I don't think that's crazy to think that Cade Cunningham is going first. So second overall pick. There's talks between Jalen Green and Evan Mobley. And you see right here, here's the available players, and this is the official draft board that ESPN has ranking these players. And you see their roster right here, rebuilding team. It's Jalen Green. I think if they drafted Evan Mobley, I think that would rub Christian Wood the wrong way. Maybe he asked for a trade out, and I don't think Houston wants to risk that. Obviously, Evan Mobley can play the 5 and Christian Wood can play the 4, but that gets a little crowded. And I think a safer pick, a higher potential pick is Jalen Green, so I think that's what they do at 2. We have the Cavs at 3. There's only 2 players that they could look at is Evan Mobley or Jalen Suggs, and already having Colin Sexton and Darius Garland in the front court, it could become crowded, especially with Jalen Suggs. I think Jalen Suggs would already be better than Colin Sexton, a year down the line. Even though Colin Sexton averaged, 20 points per game this season, I think, he's taking all the shots. Colin Sexton isn't exactly happy with the Cavs organization. So I think a safer pick, even though they have a bunch of centers like Jared Allen, like Larry Nance Jr. at the 4, I think a safer pick is Evan Mobley. I think he could maybe play the 4 next to Jared Allen or play behind him. Regardless, I think they go with that. Mobley at 3. So the 4th pick, this is Jalen Suggs. Don't need to talk about that. I saw a Twitter post saying that the Raptors were pretty high on Suggs, and I think that's a pretty good pick. They don't need a Scotty Barnes player because they have OG Anunoby. They don't need a Jonathan Kuminga because he'd be playing behind Pascal. So I think it's really that's a really safe pick. Kyle Lowry looks like he's going to be out anyways. But the 4th pick, oh gosh. Obviously you have Scotty Barnes here and Jonathan Kuminga. Those are the 2 players that the Magic are really probably going to look at. And I'm not a big Scotty Barnes guy. I'm just not. I think Jonathan Kuminga is the right pick for the Magic. Higher upside. It's going to be a little bit crowded with the other Jonathan in the Magic's organization, but I think they can make it work. They got a lot of young talent. They just have to figure out how to make use of it. OKC Thunder, this Josh Giddey guy I'm not high on. Scotty Barnes seems like the pick that, everybody's been picking to them, but if I want to, test some waters, I'm really high on Jalen Johnson, even though I do think it was kind of weird what he did with Duke. I'm really high on him. I don't see anybody else that they could look at. Maybe a Moses Moody, but I think that's a little too high for him. So I think Scotty Barnes is the player to pick here, and I'm going to pick him. Next team, we have the Warriors. I've seen a lot of Davion Mitchell drafted to the Warriors. This is if they don't trade out of the 7th overall pick, because I still think that's pretty likely that they do. But If you draft Davion Mitchell with this seventh pick, you're drafting him to be a backup, and I don't think you want to use a top 10 pick just to be a backup, playing behind Steph Curry, not getting a lot of shots, not getting a lot of minutes. A safer pick, probably a shooter like Franz Wagner, who would just kind of try to play his role, I guess. But I just made a video on Franz Wagner, so you guys know how I feel about him. But Corey Kispert's another player off the bench that they could play. I'm thinking of guys that won't need a lot of shots. So I think, oh gosh, I don't know who to go here. I'm going to go Josh Giddey just to get him off the board. I don't know a lot about Josh Giddey, but he's a foreign player. Let's bring him to the Warriors, I guess. All right, the Magic have their 8th overall pick from the Bulls. And who else do they need here? Let's think here. So they got all the guards they need. They have Cole Anthony, Gary Harris. Who am I thinking of? Markel Fultz, and one other guy, R.J. Hampton. They have all those point guards, shooting guards. I think Bouknight would be really fun for them. He would get a lot of shots up. Keon Johnson's another guy. But I'm going to go Jalen Johnson. It's a little high for him, but I think Jalen Johnson has the potential to be really good in this league. I think he has very high potential, and they are drafting, according to my draft, a 3 and a 4 and another 3 or 4. So it's kind of crowded, but that's okay. The Kings, they just need high potential. I think Bouknight's a really safe pick here. I think Keon Johnson's a little overrated. You guys know what I think about Franz Wagner. Davion Mitchell, they already have, Tyrese and Fox. So I think Bouknight is a better pick. I mean, Bouknight's pretty tall. So Tyrese Halliburton 6'5" and Bouknight 6'5", they can make it work with someone playing the 3. And yeah, Grizzlies, they need someone to fit that grit and grind that they have going. They have Desmond Bane. They have the young center. I'm blanking on his name. They have Ja. They have all these players that are really gritty, and I think they have to draft someone that fits that mold. Davion Mitchell does fit that mold a lot. Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm really high on Moses Moody. I think Moses Moody is the safe pick here. Yeah, I think he really fits that. Also, they need another shooting guard. Obviously, they have, Dylan Brooks, play the shooting guard a little bit. He plays small forward, too. I'm going to draft Moses Moody. I'm really high on Moses Moody. And, yeah, we have the Hornets. Yes, the Hornets. I really like Corey Kispert. Garuba is really good. I saw him play versus USA. Not drafting Franz Wagner. Not drafting Davion Mitchell. Keon Johnson. He's a leaper, but that's pretty much all he does. I've heard Segun a lot. I like Garuba, though. He's only 6'8" as a center or 4. Sharif Cooper is a little high for my liking in this power ranking right here. Isaiah Jackson would be way too high to draft him. Kai Jones is a guy I've seen a lot, going to us. But, let me go Kispert. We need a shooter, especially off the bench for our second unit. We need a shooter, and especially in this mock draft, if Moses Moody is not available, Kai Jones. Although a lot of Hornets fans like us to draft a center, I think best available is great, and I don't think Franz Wagner fits our mold. I don't think we need another small forward because we have Miles Bridges, we have Gordon Hayward. I think Corey Kispert in the second unit can get his shots up, and I think that's what we need with this 11th overall pick. A little bit of a reach. If we can trade back maybe 2 or 3 picks, that'll be fine. But with the 12th pick with the Spurs, oh gosh, what do the Spurs need? They need a center. They have Jakob Poeltl. They have Rudy Gay. He's super old though. They don't need Davion Mitchell. They don't really need Franz Wagner unless they don't bring back DeMar DeRozan, which they might not. Let's go Garuba. Let's get him a center. Play with Jakob Poeltl. It should be fine. This is really funny right here because the Pacers don't really need anything in this year's draft. Their starting 5 is super good. except they just don't win games. And let's see what we got here. So they don't need Davion Mitchell. I mean, Franz Wagner could go to them. Keon Johnson, Segun. Let's go with Segun because I feel like they really need a backup center, especially if they trade away Turner and the Goga Badatsi pick that they picked up maybe 2 seasons ago in the draft. It was Zion's draft, so it would have been 2 seasons ago. They kind of blanked on that pick, and maybe they want to try again with another center. Maybe he turns out great for them. All right, 14th pick. Oh, gosh, my camera. I'm sorry. 14th pick, Warriors. Let's go Davion Mitchell. I think if you can get him at 14, that's pretty good. I'm not high on Davion Mitchell either. And, Wizards. Let's go Franz Wagner. He's already fallen. With the Wizards, I think he could get his chance to just be a Davis Bertans type of player if he can shoot that well. But you guys can check out my other video from the other day about what I think about him. But the OKC Thunder, again, they got to go with young talent, and I think Keon Johnson has a bunch of upside if he can find his rhythm in the NBA other than just having a 48-inch vertical. That's what I think. The Pelicans, they would love a shooter next to Zion. I don't think they need another point guard or shooting guard. Although it says their shooting guard is high, I think, if they bring Lonzo back or if they sign Kyle Lowry, they have so many young point guards and shooting guards that they've drafted in these years. I'm blanking on what their names are. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They have another one that they picked up too. But I don't think they need a Sharife Cooper. I don't think they need a Trey Murphy. If I want to go down this list, they don't really need a power forward. I think they should trade out of this pick, which they already traded with Memphis. But I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know what they need. Let's go. I think Jared Butler would be great for them, although he's kind of undersized. I just said they don't need a point guard, but I think Jared Butler can play the shooting guard maybe a little bit. Yeah, let's go with Jared Butler. I really liked him in March Madness, and maybe I'm biased. All right, OKC Thunder. Another pick for them. Let's give them a center, Isaiah Jackson. They just traded away Moses Brown for Kemba, so maybe they want to try with another young center. Who knows? For the Knicks, they don't need Sharife Cooper, although it says their point guard's high. They have Emmanuel quickly. They might bring back Derrick Rose. Trey Murphy would be a really good pick for them. Kai Jones at the 4. I mean, they got Mitchell Robinson there. Kai Jones wouldn't be bad for them. He wouldn't be bad. But I'm going to go with Trey Murphy. Heard a lot of good things about him. He played in a really good system at Virginia. Let's give him to him. We got the Hawks. They don't need Sharife Cooper. Cameron Thomas, I don't think they need. Kai Jones, yeah, let's give him to him. They, at their 4 position, I mean, they have Gallinari that Kai Jones can learn from. They just drafted Double O. They have Clint Capella. So Kai Jones would have a lot of people to work under, and he would learn a lot. So, yeah. For the Knicks at 21, again, this was maybe in their deal with Porzingis, maybe? I'm trying to think. Chris Duarte seems like a good pick. Sharife Cooper's just too small for the Knicks. They already have Emmanuel quickly. Let's give him a 2 in Chris Duarte. I don't know a lot about him, but yeah. Lakers, I think Sharife Cooper has the name. He was really popular in high school. He has the flashiness to keep up with LA. I think he fits there well, and they need a point guard if they trade away Dennis Schroeder. Excuse me. Rockets, they need a young guy. They don't need a center. Trey Mann is a really solid piece. Why do I keep calling Cameron Johnson? Cameron Thomas seems really solid. If I want to go down this, Miles McBride, Zaire Williams is all the way down here. My goodness. Zaire Williams is one I'm picking. He's a freshman, 6'8", point guard. Went to Stanford. You know he's smart. Let's give the Rockets that. They have back-to-back picks from Milwaukee. I think this was in the trade that got Milwaukee P.J. Tucker, and in return, the Rockets got this first-round pick along with the two DJs, DJ Wilson and the older DJ, I forget his name. For the Rockets, Jaden Springer's another good player, but I just drafted Zaire Williams a second ago, and I drafted Jalen Green, so they don't really need a front court player. Let's give him Sharp. Don't really know much about him. Maybe he's Shannon Sharp's nephew or something like that, but let's give it to him. Clippers, 25th pick. They did a really good pick selecting a man before, so maybe they want, instead of Terrence Mann, they want Trey Mann. But I think Jaden Springer's really good for them. He's bigger. JT Thor, heard a lot about him. Quentin Grimes, you'd be a little high for Quentin Grimes. But I really like Trey Mann. I think he's a great player. 6'5", really tall, can learn behind Pat Bev, can learn behind Rondo if they bring him back. So yeah, Nuggets hit on almost every draft pick. So JT Thor would be good for them. I think Jaden Springer's really mature to be with that team. The Nets. Oh gosh, the Nets. Let's give him JT Thor. They need a big player. He's 6'10". Let's just give it to him. 76ers. This is tough. This is a little tough. It would be someone for their bench, so someone that would have to fit their role. Let's do oh gosh. Let's go down here and see who I like. I don't know, guys. This is what do the 76ers need? Obviously, it says right here a small forward behind Tobias Harris. Whew. But the best available small forward is, this guy. That would be way too high. What about a power forward? Yeah, I don't even know who that is. Cameron Thomas. He fell in the draft already, so let's give him to him. All right. Suns. It says right here that they need a backup center behind Ayton. Let's see who's the best available. Charles Bassey. Luka Garza. No. I think a really solid pick for them would be Josh Christopher. Josh Christopher is really flashy, really well known, so let's give him to him. Last pick in the first round, and the last pick of this video is the Jazz. Jazz needs someone off the bench, a power forward, it says right here. Let's see if there's any good power forwards. Nope. Any good small forwards? Nope. So who did I let fall in this draft? Not really anybody. I mean, Joshua Primo, I don't know much about. He has a cool name, though. I'll give him that. But it's the last pick in this year's draft for the first round. Let's do someone that I like personally. I like Brandon Boston. Isaiah Todd, he was in the G League. He's all right. Ayayi is really good. Let's give him the Gonzaga player. He was super good. So this is my first round picks. Cade, Jalen, Evan, Jalen, and Jonathan Kuminga fill out the top 5. And I think it was a pretty good round. I gave my Hornets Corey Kispert. I mean, if we could trade back to maybe the 15th pick and pick him up there, I'd be even happier with that. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching.